greetings. Yes. Okay. Going to Mars energies. For what reason? Well, channeling the Palladians, all them to death. So just do a Martian channeling instead. So something different. The thumbnail is on the video is alien. It's alien professor during the lunar landing, wherever that is, somewhere in a universe near you. And also Saturn energies. Saturn channeling. Once again, we'll just let that be where it needs to be. So we just I might keep this one short. So just it's been a while since I've been switching platforms recently. All right, so I'm going to comment private sessions. Maybe. All right, go to schedule right here. The shop. I forgot to fix that. Anyway. All right, thank you for your support. In these unknown times, these times of, I don't know if you call it the awakening, because you can say that for any age. So, all right, we're going to the Martian energies. Just whatever they have to say about our. Something happened over there. Somebody's here. I don't know. That's Priscilla, but I'm not sure what happened over there. So we're going to Martian energies, just our situation here in general, their perspective, and similar to Saturn. Actually, I think Mars I've done a while back. I can't remember. Saturn has been a while. So, all right, blessings. Here we go. Greetings, this is Martian frequencies. Our perspective of your planet, we are not much different than your world, more advanced technology-wise, but as for people, we're not always the most mature beings. Of course, you have that here on your planets, but we're ones that are, can have erratic behavior, but our world is used for countless purposes. One is military, and you can say an aspect of it was to take over other planets or to intimidate other worlds or to experiment on other worlds such as yours. But now obviously you can take this from different perspectives, but the ape was a experiment that was just that brought a lot of attention, basically. Not so much reptilian, more of the ape energies, and even you can say the origins of humanity, but that it doesn't really go into the ape, but just the ape in general, it's just an unusual species altogether. Of course, all of them are in their own way. But, you hear about the reptilians and you hear about, their manipulations and ups and downs and all of their frequencies, but the ape is still kind of a mystery, their connections to human, or at least a version of human, you can say, because they're basically the building blocks of your society. And you can say there were a lot of human hybrids brought from Mars into your world, once again, as experimentation. And they are here. Some of them are sumo wrestlers. For example, we're not going to give away everyone else, but that's one of them. Mars is, yes, known to be aggressive, but not always. But yes, it can be, because we've been weaponized like anybody else. It's like the reptilians are weaponized, because reptilians were not always weaponized beings. They were just like a reptile. The snakes have always existed, yes. Even they were, enhanced, you could say. And of course, the reptilian beings around your planet, as you know, have been militarized at such a level, they don't even know what to do with themselves half the time. Yeah, they might have all that. Of course, you don't see them physically, but you can feel some of their presence. I mean, they're kind of healing from their evolution. They are, you know, kind of like, in a lot of ways, attacked, and you kind of been through the same thing they've been through in your own way. I've just been used, abused, pulled away from your evolution. Of course, there's manipulations everywhere. Well, the idea is, at least the reptilian's perspective, they see the potential of your world, and they're actually trying to, bring you out of this. Of course, there's others that just want you to, be, wiped from the face of the universe. But then there's others that are testing you, that are of a positive frequency, but they're like teachers. They have to teach you to get you. It's like having a sensei. They have to, throw darkness at you to see where you're at. Not to torture you. It might seem that way, but to also see where you're going. If you're going to go to the dark side or evolve. Obviously, many don't evolve. So the reptilians do get like a harsh, which could be deserved. You're not always seeing how they operate. I mean, there are others, yeah, that just want to just wipe you off the face of the universe once again. But a lot of them that want to do that don't really have much respect for themselves either. They probably would say the same thing about themselves. Let's put it that way. So if they can live here, so can you. Yeah, if they have a space here, you can have your space, no matter what you do with it. You're just not always aware of like your potential. Of course, some of you are becoming more aware of it. Most of the population is too immature to handle it, or it's probably best they don't access it, because they could be, they're already weaponized humans as it is. Yes, they can get worse. So the humans are down. So getting the perspectives of why humans have been downgraded, it is, you can say, a fight of light and dark. Yes, it gets that simple. It's like, how many go to the light side, how many go to the dark side. Obviously, many go to the dark side because they just can't seem to get themselves out of it, or they enjoy it there, or they just, yes, lack of self-love. A lot of souls just don't think much of themselves, or individuals, you want to call it. They just don't they don't feel like they matter at all, in any respect at all, like as a consciousness. And that's something they have to go through. And it goes through, this can go on for thousands of years, yes. But it doesn't mean your world can't get an upgrade and get more, as you're receiving now, more information about yourselves, so you can evolve. And yes, there will be kind of an ape society here, as you can see, that just wants to be animalistic, and that's all. It's not that you're, labeling or anything, but obviously there are many humans that are still at an animalistic level. You can just tell. Then others, at an analytical level, and they just talk and talk and get nothing done. There's a lot of that happening here too. Obviously, when we get channeled here, there's only so much we can do. We can just, beings can bring in their information. You can do what you want with it. It might seem repetitive, and so on. It's frustrated for a lot. Well, there are beings that want to bring you, more into enlightenment, but obviously society is, fighting its potential. But it doesn't mean you can't get upgrades here and see more of where you come from and things like that. Of course, there's so many different realities you come from. It's hard to say what origin that works, because you all come from different versions of reality. So just to say it's one version, it's like the Jesus crucifixion is like, that's on many different versions of Earth. And so that's kind of pertains to you to some level. And so, but like I say, you go into the past, so many different versions of the past. It's hard to just give you one version. It's like, it'd be more like several. But this is how you go multidimensional. And some of you are at that level. Of course, others just want the hard facts and just, that's it, black and white. It's not always black and white here, as you can see. For some, it is. Yes, it's just that they feel better that way. But For many of you, or a few of you, it's more multidimensional realities. It doesn't mean it has to be confusing. Maybe on a physical level it's confusing, but on a higher level it's not. And that's what you're accessing. You don't have to know all the details. It just you just know there's multiple versions of your world. So if you're already aware of it, so it shows a lot of spiritual maturity. And the Martian is, yeah, kind of like a necessary evil for this world. It did, yes, the Martians did play a role in opening up the lower dimensions of your planet. Why? Because it was there. It's like, how far is this world? I mean, how deep does this world go into the dark side? And it can go further, but there's some places where it was stopped. Yeah, it can be much worse here. It's where it barely even moves. I mean, you're already feeling that now. Yeah, we're not going to go into details of that. It wouldn't get anywhere. But the idea is for you have the chance to evolve or not to evolve, and just there's different places of the world you can go to live out your existence, the choices that you make. So where you are now is, you're using the resources of where you are currently located. If you want to live in the slums, you can find that if you want to. And some do that to like be recycled, actually, to just some just feel better in the slum realms. Then again, there's others that feel better when they're extremely wealthy and clueless to society and superficial. They seem like, and they might eventually heal. Well, they feel like they're given to others to some level, and some are sort of. But as you can see, you're living inside of a play, a movie, a production, and that is for you to find yourselves. Really, it's just yes, you can't connect to some of the main timelines because you don't want you there. It's kind of like the main timeline. It's kind of like reading. It's like going to the novel at the end of the book and reading the ending before you even get there. That's why timelines are protected. Because you can derail it for everybody else. You can ruin it for everybody else. And they're not going to give you that. Now, sometimes you can see a version of the future that's normally okay, but some of you can see too much, but then you get retaliation from it. So it's stay in your corner or your field or whatever you want to call it. There are realms like Palladians can see and other beings, but we'll just say the Pleiadians can see pretty deeply into their own evolution, but they're not going through the challenges you're going through. So it's like they're just for example, the Palladians, we'll just use that for example. It's like they're like a sheet music. It's like you can see the beginning and the end, but the idea is to play at that tone. It's just that's part of their reality. So they can see more in their reality. But yours is, yeah, you're kind of playing by ear. You're going about it day by day, which is making it more interesting. Maybe you might not see it that way, but it's like the less you know, the better in this regard, in this existence here. Well, it's like, what do you discover about? Because you're discovering new things about yourself every day. You're not even realizing it, even if it might be the most dullest, boring day ever. So, we'll leave it at that. Greetings with Saturn energies. Yes, we don't normally make ourselves known here. There's a lot of esoteric energies. We're part of the hidden of like going, yes, more into your darkness or what you're looking for, like the roadmap into yourself. We play a role in that, and yes, it's not usually very pretty. Of course, the Saturn lifetime, you can, yeah, it could be a lot of stress there. Like, but it's kind of like being in a university where you're heavily tested every day, and you are going through that here in a different way. is called normal. They call it life here. Other places would call it something different. It's however you want to define it, however you see yourself. Yes, you might not like how this world, as you can see, has a lot of programming placed into it. Don't you want to be wealthy? Don't you want to be? How many people really want to be poor? Well, some people have been so living such a horrible life, being wealthy, being poor is not so bad anymore. Some of them have burned so much from it, they really could care less. They can live off $1 a week. They're that sick of it. So, or even sick of money in general, because some of them are sick of that. Some of you might even feel that within yourself, because all the agenda is connected to it. But the elite frequencies that's here. So yeah, it's interesting perspective of like if there's like a economy destruction and just uh, a zombie apocalypse, sort of, not exactly. Would you find the elites during that process? Probably yes, because they'll be living high and dry, always for a short time. But they will be found eventually. Even if they live in the center of the earth, you will find them because your instincts increase. As you can see, when you go through a lot of pressure, your instincts enhance. You might not always be aware of it, but they do. And so if you're in a survival mode, your instincts go, 1,000,000,000%, and you will find those that are messing with your world eventually. So, and obviously the elite energies know how to keep comfort and distract you and all that. That's not always a bad thing, because you're it's what how do you live this experience? You Video games are a vice to take you over, or do you quit all of that and connect with yourself and go into the astral and see a bunch of reptilian beings and be attacked by them? I mean, what do you do? Do you play video games the rest of your life, or do you evolve into an astral being and become an ass, basically? At least to the beings and they're glad to see you evolve, but what do you do with it too? And there's different reasons. I mean, there's obviously different parts of evolution, but uh, basically, you can say reconnecting to your Atlantean roots or your power. Well, this world is connected to the sixth dimension, can go higher, but usually it's around the sixth dimension at your highest tier, and some of you can access portions of that when in due time. You're still in the physical realm because it's necessary. Where you're healing the physical, you can still be a highly evolved sixth dimensional being in a physical. Basically, as you learn how to manipulate the physical realm, which some of you are learning, but you can actually make it. You can make yourself disappear and reappear. Obviously, you can do that to a certain level here, but there are rules here where you can't fully do it. But like Doctor Strange, something like that, you can access something like that where you can actually vanish and reappear. But that's when you're real, because you're connected to all your molecules and everything here. You can manipulate every part of your body, but think about that. It's like, and you can also change your form too. And that's a lot of responsibility within yourself. So if you have that type of power and somebody makes you angry, do you zap them with your mind, or do you give them a hug, or how do you react like that? Because when you have power to manipulate your own body, how do you deal with other beings that might intimidate you? And this is why the human body is shut. That's why humans are shut down, because they suck at dealing with pressure. And but as you evolve, you're healing the physical realms. It doesn't mean you're going to become this super high. I mean, you can at some level, but there's not necessary to become. I mean, some incarnate as a magician frequency for sure, but that's different though. It doesn't mean they can kind of disappear, reappear at some level, but not once they're there. I mean, they can alter reality to some level, but sometimes they have to sell themselves out to get to that, because this world has rules where it's not technically allowed. So there's a lot of rules here, as some of you knew, energetic rules, as you can see. And I'll leave you with that.